It's quite fitting really that I'm here in Portugal for the launch of BMW's F700 and 800 GSs, because Luke has recently got back from the launch of the Triumph Explorer with Charlie Borman, who, let's face it, really put the GSs on the map, with a little bit of help from Ewan McGregor, of course. Now, when I think about the GSs, I really do think about its bigger brother, the 1200 adventure bike. But the GSs have come in all different shapes and sizes since the 1980s when the R80 GS was launched. But we're not here today to talk about old school, we're looking ahead, and these two beauties are the latest in the GS range. So last night we kicked off this launch with a brief presentation from BMW talking about their business model plan, but more importantly and most interestingly talking about their latest gear. And what's great is that they've kitted me out with some of it. So I've got the GS dry trousers on, a really nice GS carbon helmet, and what I'm most stoked about is that they've let me borrow this, the BMW Street Air. So we just finished a very short presentation on the updates for the 2016 F Series, and it was very short because it's mainly cosmetic. So there are new colour designs giving a more sleeker, emotional design, BMW say. Tank and ignition cover have been updated. There are electroplated elements, and perhaps most interesting is that the new two-tone seat has 5 adjustable height options, so that's really good for us shorties. And also there are 4 different comfort seat options. I've just had a really nice 45-minute ride into the hills with my not so personal instructor Gwyn, who's left me. I don't know where he's gone. My first impressions of the F700 GS is that it handles really well, really smooth power delivery, and it's such an easy bike to ride. Now I'm just going to enjoy doing a few more miles on it and taking in this gorgeous Portuguese countryside. I've switched bikes and I'm now on the F800 GS, and what I would say is that my first impressions of this are that it's definitely a more serious adventure bike. Now Uli, there are different riding modes and I've had it in enduro, so the ABS and traction control is tailored to off-road, but I don't really like it when the traction control kicks in because I'm used to off-road riding and normally the bikes I ride don't have that. So can I switch it off completely?
Yes, Suzy, you can definitely. We have a control switch on the left hand side where you can, with a long press of the button, switch off the ABS, and with another long press also switch off the traction control for those who are not happy with the setting in the enduro mode. Even though we get the feedback that many customers are really happy with the enduro mode, catering for loose gravel roads on street tires. But obviously, yes, you can switch it off. But bear in mind, whenever you switch off the bike and switch it on again, it'll default back into ABS on and AC on to have you on the safe side.
Okay, so how do you think that I can become more comfortable with the traction control and ABS kicking in? It just seems so alien to me off-road.
At the end of the day, it's all about training, isn't it? Yeah. So I'd recommend keep it on for the time going. Just get the feeling for the throttle, feel the point when the traction control is kicking in and try to be just below that one.
Now you're a seasoned professional off-roader. Do you not find it better without the traction control and ABS on?
No, to be honest, I'm really happy with the way that we have catered with the system that takes into account that you're on loose ground and still gives you the benefit of having a traction control and having an ABS system on there that is working off-road, so I'll keep it on for sure.
Okay, so I think I'm going to try it in both modes. I've had it in enduro mode and I'm going to have it as tailored to my riding with the ABS off and the traction control off and see how I get on.
Fantastic, you enjoy yourself.
Okay, so let's take a look at the bikes in more detail. Well, they're both powered by BMW's well-established liquid-cooled 4-valve, 2-cylinder engine. In terms of numbers, the 700 makes 75 HP and the 800 85. Both bikes have a 17-inch rear wheel, but the 700 has a 19-inch front wheel and the 800 has a 21-inch front wheel. And also the 800's got spoked wheels and I love that look. My Tiger's got the same. Now the optional seat heights are an added attraction for these bikes. So the 700 actually goes as low as 765mm. I just had it on the standard setting, which is 2 heights up. And then it goes as high as 860mm. Whereas the 800, you're looking at 820mm to 920. So what do you actually get in terms of electronics on these bikes? Well, in line with BMW's Safety 360 principle, ABS comes as standard, and there's also optional automatic stability control and electronic suspension adjustment. Now, my bike had this extra, but I didn't use them as A, I had limited time on each bike, and B, the standard setup felt smooth and comfortable to ride on the easy terrain that we were given. However, with a bike loaded up with luggage, a pillion, if you're carrying a bit of extra weight after your Sunday roast, slightly tougher terrain, then this would give you way more flexibility. Now, when you think of BMW, you think premium, and that makes you think premium prices. But actually, their prices are very competitive. The standard F700 GS starts at 7,815 on the road, and then the standard 800 GS starts at 8,850. Now, I've tried to get as much time on these bikes today as I possibly could, switching between the two, but it is quite difficult because we've only got a day and there are a load of other people here riding them as well. But what I would say is that the F700 GS really surprised me because although BMW say that it's for mainly road use with a bit of light off-road, actually, I think this bike is more capable than what you may think. I think stick a pair of knobblies on there and actually it could get you on some pretty amazing adventures. That's it, the end of another great launch. Yesterday was so lovely riding around the Portuguese hills, some really nice sweeping bends and great off-road trails. The 1200 really has outshone the rest of the GS range due to its popularity, but what I would say is that the F700 GS and the F800 GS are both great bikes in their own right. In fact, in May 2009, BMW actually sold their 500,000th GS, and that's just testament to how great the entire range is. The F700 GS was really easy to ride. Although the trails were very sort of tame yesterday, I actually think that the 700 is capable of much more, and I'd love to try it with some knobblies on. Also, I think it's a great bike to commute on. It's so comfortable, and even if you're not into the adventure side of riding, you've still got that look and that credibility of riding a BMW. The F800 GS has got all the same great qualities that the 700 has got, but it is more geared up for those trickier off-road situations. So after a great couple of days out here in Portugal with BMW, I've just got a few more minutes to enjoy the sun and this beautiful view before heading back to Faro Airport and catching a plane back to good old Blighty.